Are Reform conversions considered, are they recognized by the Israeli state for return? And second question, oh man, I forgot the second question, my bad.
Yeah. The answer is yes. Reform conversions are accepted by what's called the Sochnut, which is the Jewish agency. They're the ones in charge of the right of return for all conversions that are not Orthodox. If a conversion is Orthodox, it needs to be approved by the rabbinate, but the rabbinate doesn't take care of Reform or conservative conversions. I think there may have been instances where you can skip the rabbinate and get your conversion recognized as an Orthodox Jew by the state alone, which would make it a lot easier. But you just like unless you get the stamp of the Orthodox, you won't be able to put your kids in schools, religious schools, and you won't be able to get married in the state. Yeah, so
Got it.
conversion politics is kind of problematic.
Though in your view, there's no, here's the second question. Though in your view, there's no halakhic problem with a Christian converting or by an Orthodox standard. In the process of an Orthodox conversion, is a convert who believe likely to be prompted with questions that will interrogate their belief in Jesus as Messiah, and would a positive, would a belief in Jesus as Messiah prevent the completion of that conversion
There isn't a
in
rabbi alive
practice?
today that would convert anyone if they believed in Jesus. Okay, that doesn't mean that if such a conversion would take place, that it would be invalid. There's no such thing as an invalid conversion, unless you have witnesses who aren't eligible to witness. There are certain things that disqualify a witness, like if he's related to another person on the court, and on and on. If he probably breaks Shabbat, if he gambles, and on and on. Apart from that, this notion, there's a misconception that if you convert believing in Jesus, that means that your conversion from the outset wasn't sincere. There's no such thing as an insincere conversion. Sincerity doesn't play a part in conversion. These people don't know this because they don't study the laws of conversion. It has nothing to do. By the simple fact that you could convert a child, right? I mean, you can convert a baby, means that if this individual goes through the process, they are halachically Jewish. So that means that you could technically convert believing Muhammad is the final prophet. It's not going to affect you. It's not going to affect your status as a halachic Jew. It could add some sort of prefix or suffix to your title. You could be like an apostate Jew. You could be a heretical Jew. You could be a sectarian Jew, but you would still be a Jew. Um, but the simple fact that you could be born Jewish, it means that belief and sincerity doesn't play a big part on your legal status. In terms of how God views you, being Jewish means nothing. God doesn't care if you're Jewish. He cares what you do with that. That means now you have a ticket into the Jewish world, into the Jewish people. What are you going to do with that? Like, are you going to let your light shine? Are you going to, make God look good to the world? Yeah, being Jewish means nothing. This is why, like, rabbis make that into a big deal. They make conversion take years. Like, the actual conversion is what makes you Jewish. Again, because you could be born Jewish, it means the conversion doesn't mean anything. It makes you legally Jewish, but it doesn't make you in some covenant with God. That covenant with God is established even before you convert. If you accept the Torah like the Hebrews accepted the Torah on Mount Sinai, or like the mixed multitude did, you have their status. You are in a covenant with God. You may not be legally Israel, and that's the only thing a conversion does. It makes you legally Israel. It doesn't make you automatically in a covenant with God. A covenant means an agreement. When you agree to be, his servant and God be your God, that's when it really begins. All right. I mean, heck, people shouldn't wait to convert to start keeping Torah. You start keeping Torah as soon as you start realizing that you've been wrong your whole life and you want to live life correctly. So, yeah.
This sounds like a kind of a catch-22 here, though. If one can, in theory, believe that Jesus is Messiah and convert, but no rabbi would convert you if you believe this thing, can you, in theory, just lie in the process of your conversion, and then thereby convert and then retroactively say, "Oh, I believed in Jesus the whole time," and still maintain being a Jew? Is that what you're saying? Is the how that plays out?
Yes.
Hmm. That's a weird life. It's a weird way to play that.
I mean, this is legal in terms of Jewish law. So whether people dislike me for making that statement, They have to prove how I'm wrong. It's not what you know, it's what you can defend.
Simcha Bosan says you can't lie because converts don't understand Judaism.
Right. So to convert, you don't have to understand Judaism either. You learn Judaism after you convert. But the only example we have in the Talmud of people coming to convert and rabbis converting them is this individual who came to Hillel to convert. He came under false pretenses, not knowing anything, like convert me on the basis that you make me the high priest, that I don't believe in the oral law, or that I learned the whole law while I'm standing on one foot. In all those instances, it says that Hillel converts him immediately, right? And then he teaches them. So this notion that you have to know something to convert, nonsense. You don't have to know anything. You just have to be sincere enough, right, to want to do it. But these people, whoever makes these statements, they're not completely wrong because this is what's done nowadays and this is what's taught nowadays. However, if you go back to source material, it's just not there, right? And this is why they will always lose a debate with me, because they don't know the source material. They think they know the material. All they know is the status quo, where they just know what's done. But if you start challenging them, like, where is that? Where is that in the Talmud? Where is it in the Mishnah? They'll be like, well, it doesn't matter. This is what we do. Checkmate. Because in Judaism, there's a way to win debates. But first, you have to get familiar with our systematic theology. There's a hierarchy on how laws are made and what laws are more important than other laws, right? Because it's important what we do in our communities. However, it cannot override what appears in the actual Mishnah. So they could do whatever they want. But if you go back to the Mishnah and you're like, well, it says to do it like this, they have to give in to you, because they don't have the ability to say, well, we don't go by the Talmud or we don't go by the Mishnah. They can't say that. I cornered them and I forced them to say that. Okay, but I mean, for them to say that publicly is disastrous. I mean, for someone to say with the title rabbi.
I see.
Yeah.
I'm also missed what you said was brilliant, but I've